Hey guys, my name is Allan Whatmore, and in this video today, I want to talk to you about the concept of active listening. And I want to talk to you why it's important, why you should be doing it from today onwards, and how it's going to help you convert and help a lot more clients. So the reason I'm making this video is I've spoken with a number of firms who have said to me that they've spoken with clients, they say yes, it's all good, and then they just never hear from them again. And the reason why in most instances is because the client or the prospect doesn't understand the product, they don't see the value, or they're in just a little bit of fear in most instances. Okay, it's just a generalization. There's other times that there's other core concerns or objections that they've got. But what I want to give you and go through is the concept of active listening, so that you can start to identify these earlier on in your conversations and really root out where are the gaps in your prospects' understandings. Okay, so I've just got here like a really simple sort of two sentences that I've put together, and we're going to go through these so that it can start to make sense. So I'll read out first example. So you've run someone through your pitch, let's say an advisor, and you've taken them through the process of getting advice and what that means for them. And you ask them, okay, how do they feel about the process and the structure specifically? And they might say to you, yeah, I think it could work. I'm pretty sure I understand what you do. So you essentially just manage my super and investments to get me to my goals. And so a lot of people, most of the time, who are just listening to the words that are being said, will just be like, yeah, you're right, we do. That's exactly what we do. So why don't we do this. And they're like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then you might book a second call, and then they just sort of ghost you or they leave, right? But if you listen to this, let's go through again. So yeah, I think it could work. This could work. I'm pretty sure I understand what you do. So essentially, you just manage my super and investments to get me to my goals. Okay. So if you think about, yeah, I think this could work. Okay. Not sure. And this could be due to the fact that they don't understand the product enough, or they have gaps in their knowledge about the process that you go through. I'm pretty sure I understand. This definitely says, again, gaps in their knowledge. All right. I understand what you do. So you essentially just manage my super and investments to get me to my goals. This is potential value objection, right? They don't see the value in it, and they've put you in a box, okay, based on their level of understanding. Versus example number 2. Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree that I need to do this. So from what I understand, you do X, Y, and Z, so that I can get to, not do, my lifestyle goal. Okay, whether that's go on an extra holiday, retire at 67 instead of 70, X, Y, Z. Is that right? And so, in essence, if you were just listening to the words that someone says to you and you weren't actively applying active listening, you would just take this at face value based on what they're saying, and then you would just try and take them through the next process and be like, yeah, absolutely. But now that you know, I think this could work, I'm pretty sure I understand what you do. So you essentially just manage my super and investments. You know that there's work that needs to be done. Okay, so you know it's either something to do with they don't understand the process in depth, or there's gaps in their knowledge, or there's value, they don't see the value in it themselves. So then you would ask questions around, okay, let's say, okay, got it. That makes complete sense. In terms of the actual product and the process as well, like what gaps in your knowledge do you have that is making you think that this could work instead of it definitely will work? They might say to you, oh, okay, well, I'm not sure, like, how do you actually manage my investments? Like, what does that actually look like, for example? So you might then go, say, okay, would it help if I take you through exactly how we do that? And I say, yeah, for sure, absolutely. Okay, boom, 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 you take them through the process. Okay, does that give you more clarity? And does that give you more confidence? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. Apart from that, what other questions have you got for me about the process and the structure specifically? I might say to you, I'm not too sure how you do X. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's go through that. Take them through that. So what you want to do is you want to root out by asking them what questions specifically do they have on each part of the certain products or each part of the certain components of the process, so that you can understand by the end of it, then you understand that they go from example 1 to example 2 to the point where you've essentially asked all the questions. Like, no, I've got no more questions. I understand exactly what you do, and I agree that I need to do this. So from what I understand, you do X, Y, and Z so that I can get to my lifestyle goal. You can even ask them if they can repeat back to you based on what their understanding is of the process itself. And so that is the difference from potentially you just getting a, yeah, okay, cool, sounds good, yeah, let's book another call, and then they ghost you, to, okay, I understand exactly what it is that you do, okay? And by them understanding the product and the process, they will be able to attribute the value that you provide, and you will be sold the fact that they are sold on the process and the product itself. So hopefully that's starting to make sense, right? This is all under the concept of what's called active listening. So not just listening to the words, not just taking on face value what they say, but actively listening for any ambiguities or any areas of doubt they have or gaps in their knowledge, so that you can go and have a conversation about those. Even if it means that you need to book in a second call in order to go through those things, that's worth it. Okay, that's more important than you potentially letting the client go and not being able to help them to achieve their goals. Okay, and potentially sacrificing hundreds of thousands of dollars that they could have done when it comes to their superannuation. Okay, so hopefully that starts to make sense. If you would like to see a system that's applied where we build a client acquisition system for you and work with you to apply the concept of active listening and other forms of methods into your sales process that you can genuinely help as many people as possible, then there should be a link to book in a call. But that's absolutely fine. You don't have to. Otherwise, I hope this has given you concept, and I strongly urge you to apply active listening in your day-to-day lives so that you can genuinely help more people get to their goals, okay, and build the lifestyle and dreams that they want. My name's Allan Whatmore. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day, and I will speak to you soon. Okay, bye.